Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and can you believe it? We're at the last review for our Mortal Kombat month. We've been through a lot of games, but we're closing it off with a very solid title in Mortal Kombat 10.
Released in the long ago time of 2015, this game was again developed by NetherRealm Studios and published by Warner Brothers. It came out on the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox 360, iOS, and Android devices. This game picks up where the story of Mortal Kombat 9 left off. Added a shitload of more content, made a few tweaks here and there, and maybe one big thing we're not entirely happy about. But we'll all get to that shortly.
Since we are in this current gen, reviewing the graphics is a bit of a challenge, if that makes any sense. This game looks fucking beautiful to us, but we don't know the full capabilities of the Xbox One or the PS4 at this time, so most of these new games are going to look beautiful. In 2 or 3 years, we might say, holy shit, look at this newer Mortal Kombat. It looks way better than 10. But for right now, we still love it. Once again, you have increased damage, a whole lot more going on in the background, even than in 9. You have interactable objects with the environment. You have a shit ton more fatalities, these things called brutalities, which we'll get to a little bit later. Different costumes, different variations on each character. There's just a lot thrown at you. And just look at this fatality. There are literally dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of videos that just show how goddamn gory the Mortal Kombat 10 fatalities are. And for good reason. Mortal Kombat is known for its violence. It even outshined Mortal Kombat 9 in that department. I mean, when you see someone split in half, you really get to see it in full detail in this game, and we love it. I had to give it a 10, Jim gave it a 9. I'm only going to add 1 beer, because you're going to need it to stomach all these goddamn gruesome-ass fatalities.
Alright, the sound. Honestly, it's basically the same thing that was with 9. Great voice work, great sound effects. Everything really just sounds like it hurts and it's gross and gory. The music, maybe not quite as memorable, but it's still really good and really appropriate. And one nice little thing is that the characters talk to each other before a fight happens. I complained last time about not enough character interaction. We get it this time. It didn't really bump up the score, but we both gave it 8s. It's a solid package that, again, isn't perfect, but it sounds perfectly fine and we have no real complaints at all. And I'll give it 1 beer. Another happy beer, just for them talking to each other.
The control is identical to 9. I mean, all the inputs, the only difference is now you're using a next-gen controller versus the original. So maybe if you don't like the feel of the next-gen, for us, we know the Xbox One controller feels a little small in our hands compared to the old 360, but it's still fine with us. The inputs are perfect. There's no lag. There's really no issues, so I'm not going to spend too much time. The one area where I will say this game actually feels better is doing the fatalities. When me and Jim played each other, anytime one of us won, we could every time pull off the fatality with little effort. Now granted, you can hit start and see your fatality, but even in 9, sometimes we would feel they were a little twitchy. This one, smooth as shit. So as you can see, I gave it a 10, Jim gave it a 9. I'm going to add 1 beer. For people who are stupid enough to buy the easy fatality button when the inputs are so goddamn smooth and easy, you don't need to waste your money on that.
Goddamn money-hungry DLC company bullshit! Ooh, the gameplay. Now, when you think next-gen, you want to see games evolving, fighting games evolving. The whole mechanic evolving. And this game does it right because of the faction system in online play. Basically, you can choose one of 5 different factions. During the course of a week, you can perform different challenges daily or weekly, special, almost double XP-like events called invasions. And basically, it's these worldwide things where people try to do better than other people. You do all these challenges to gain points. The points go towards your worldwide faction. And then the factions try to become the best. Not only that, different factions allow you to have faction-specific fatalities, which is a really cool thing to add on there. And it gives you a reason to try to play as each different one at a certain point. Besides that, guess what's back? Brutalities. They're not like the ones in Mortal Kombat 3. They're actually kind of beefed up normal special moves, but different conditions, and it's just a cool, different kind of way to finish someone off. Also, having 3 different variation fighting styles for each character comes back. Now, you can't change it on the fly mid-match like you could in the PS2 era, but You have 3 different versions, you can find out what you like the best, and you pick it before the fight starts. Besides that, you once again have your story mode, which, I don't know, depending on who you are, you might actually like it better than 9's. It's really good once again. Also, you have the challenge towers back, the crypt's been overhauled, you have different mini towers for different objectives that you can do. I mean, I could go on and on. There's a ton of gameplay here, once again. Even though the character list is smaller and it's more dependent on DLC day one, you assholes, it's still a lot of content here with a K. Get it? Anyway, we both gave it 10s. Even though some stuff's been stripped down, they added in a ton of other stuff. You really don't even need a beer, but why not? Maybe have 1 beer just to make traversing the crypt a little easier and less boring.
Alright, so the originality. Well, Jim just hit most of my major points, so I'm going to try and keep this brief. Like Jim mentioned, this game actually did evolve from Mortal Kombat 9, and it's really moving fighting games in the direction you would hope, which is focus a lot more on your multiplayer content. Now, I'm not saying go the method of Halo, Battlefield, Call of Duty, where all you focus in on is your multiplayer. They still have that super strong story mode, your single player goodness, your local player goodness, but they give more of a purpose to playing online than getting your ass whooped by some goddamn kid across the world. You feel like you're part of these factions. It just feels different, and it actually is the first online fighting game that I've played in a really long time and got enjoyment out of. But other than that, like Jim said, brutalities, they're just the same in name. This is a whole new mechanic we hadn't seen before. Mix that in with your 3 variations per characters, and before anyone in the comments points out, yes, we know all the old Marvel vs. Capcom and X-Men vs. Capcom. We know you could pick the 3 different types, but in this game, gives them a different look, and it truly felt like you gave them a different play style with different special moves per. So it felt unique to us. As you see, we both gave it an 8. Nothing wrong here. I'm not even going to add a beer.
Oh my god, the replayability.
Is there a lot?
I don't know what to even say at this point. We've basically gone over all the new stuff, which adds to replayability. We have all the characters, so you can do the arcade mode to see their little quips at the end. You have the story, you have all the unlockables, all the challenges, all the online modes. Once again, the faction mode can make you come back week after week after week. Overall, we gave it 10s. We'd give it 12s if we could. And as far as beer goes, you don't need it because you don't have time for beer. All you have time for is all the content in this game.
So overall, Mortal Kombat 10 is another excellent installment in the Mortal Kombat series. It's highly debatable whether it's better, worse, or just as good as Mortal Kombat 9. It really comes down to which story did you like better and which characters you like to play as more. For Jim and I, we still recognize it's a great game. And really, my biggest gripe with the game and Jim's, they have the first day DLC and buying your characters. It's not like it was a release later on. They had the characters develop. It's a way of squeezing more money out of you. And we know, in general, that's the way that gaming is going. And it's unfortunate. We hoped that Mortal Kombat would be above it. Regardless, they still give you a shit ton of content. So as you see, I gave it a 10, Jim gave it a 9. I think he did prefer Mortal Kombat 9 just a little bit more. When you combined all of our scores, it comes out to a 9.2. So from a technical point standpoint, it's just as good as Mortal Kombat 9. You can't go wrong either way. It is another excellent Mortal Kombat game. As far as a beer pairing is concerned, we're going to go with something we just recently tried. The Schofhofer Grapefruit Weizen Mix. Now there's a whole lot of grapefruit beers coming out recently. And for the most part, we don't like them. That's because we don't like grapefruit. We tried this though, and it was goddamn delicious. It tasted much sweeter, and then we discovered why. It's only 2.5%. So, much like Mortal Kombat 10, to really get the full drunkenness that you would get from most beers, you're gonna have to buy a whole lot more. And this really isn't a bad one. We each had 3 the other night. Didn't really affect our stomachs too much. Get a case, sit down with your friend, and watch those gory-ass fatalities unfold. Alright guys, we want to say thank you so much for checking out all of our Mortal Kombat reviews. We still have one more Mortal Kombat video coming towards you, and that's the top 10 best fighters. So make sure you check in sometime later this week or next week to see who the #1 fighter in Mortal Kombat is. Till next time guys, cheers.